Simon, welcome back to this podcast, speaking a bit about ESP, your company, and also the now full deployment of GelatoConnect. I think we spoke last time like 3 months ago, and so much has happened since. You're now fully running your operations on GelatoConnect, and you now have the data points that has surfaced with this deployment. So I'm really looking forward to just hearing your view from your perspective on how your world has changed. So let's just get started. How are you now feeling overall about the partnership and GelatoConnect? Like a couple of just introductory sentences on how you're feeling today.
Thanks, Henrik. So we're feeling great in an absolute nutshell about it. Excellent. I mentioned last time we were on the podcast and at Drupa, the speed of which Gelato delivers updates, improvements, and softwares. And it's really funny because one of your guys in Gelato sent an email out, which I was included on, to customers saying, you know, all the feature developments that have happened, and which was like since Drupa, obviously, which wasn't that long ago. And like I read that email, there was literally like 20 big bullet points on there of like new modules, new software that wasn't there like not so long ago, like literally 3-4 weeks ago, whatever it was. So yeah, I just to emphasize to people what I mean when I talk about the speed of delivery.
When we do these changes, it's also very much driven by the input that you are giving in other partners, which we are really, really grateful for, because in the end, we build this software for you to power up your whole production hub and your different facilities. So on that note, if we go back in time, Simon, let's say 8 months, when you said, I want to move forward with GelatoConnect. If we go back to that decision, what drove that decision? What did you see that pushed you to actually change the MIS system in a way for your production facility?
One, I trusted you in Gelato. That's like the most important thing. You can't partner with anyone that you don't trust, right? So that's like point number one. And you're fulfilling on those promises every day, every week, and every hour. Point number two is the software that existed in the market was not fit for purpose for where the market was, and 100% is not fit for purpose for the future of the market. And point number three associated to that, we don't just really want fit for purpose, we need something great. We talked on the last podcast about, you know, software and car manufacturing. It's not just about being fit for purpose. You know, who aims for mediocre? Like, I don't think any of us, you know, just watching the Olympics aim for mediocre. We aim for greatness. So the trust element was not just, are you guys in partnership with us and lots of others going to create something that's fit for purpose? It's, at the end of this, if we all put the effort in, are we going to get something that's great? Yeah, that really exceeds our expectation.
Yeah, and that is very much tech driven and software powered, because that is what I think is so important for this industry to really understand, that we have different core competences. You are operational, yours is like operational excellence, while Gelato's is like, we are a software company. That is why we came to be, and that is what we're focusing on. Now, on that note, like I always say that our job is not to speak poorly about competitors. But just at a general basis, what would you say if you compare with any other solutions out there? How does GelatoConnect today compare with what you know is out there?
So the general software, you know, I've said this before, you're not on the same periodic table as anyone anymore. Completely different elements, okay? So the comparison, there really isn't a comparison anymore. At the start of this year, I would say you had a competitor. Now, like, does Ford You know, does a Ford Escort compete with a Ferrari? Yes, they both drive. You can get you from A to B, but they're not the same. So you don't really have a competitor anymore that's in your market space, from my perspective. But in terms of what I think people might define your competitor as, or your closest competitor, your software has so much enrichedness to it, and so many different functions and functionality that not just improves workflow in terms of hours saved, but enables you to create the whole more value out of your business in summary. And like, if like I can quickly touch on it, you've got integrations with vast different type of companies that can create value creation, or gives me the tools to create value creation, whether it's an Amazon integration, Etsy integration, TikTok integration. You know, I would be stupid not to offer those to my customers, so they can generate more revenue and I can generate more revenue, and I will stay stickier and have a greater long-term relationship with those customers if I'm enabling them to generate more revenue, which enables me to generate more revenue. In your closest competitor, that doesn't exist. Purchasing, or the term purchasing on your closest competitor doesn't exist. But you, in GelatoConnect, it's not just purchasing like a bit of accounting software. It's got huge amount of AI technology involved. And do you know what? That AI term is overused a lot, and I think people get, you know, they hear that term and they go, you know, either they don't understand what the term is, or they just hear it too much because it's like a buzzword. But seriously, I'm sat here saying to you, it does have AI technology integrated into the software. It does save us hours in our purchasing manager on purchasing. He doesn't even need to go into his email box to send an email.
Hours per day or hours per week?
Just the whole, easily a couple of hours a day on purchasing. He doesn't, per day. He doesn't need to literally go outside of Gelato. It's crazy, to be honest with you. So when I say the term AI, especially in this context, take it as factual. Stock control, warehouse control, locations, barcode scanning. Your closest competitor doesn't have that. We can track everything in our factory. You know, we hold a lot of stock. It's £1 million it was. It saved us 20% in cash holdings, so 20% in value. So instead of holding 1 million, we're holding 800 in round terms. The only reason we held £1 million worth of stock was because, in all honesty, we didn't have clear visibility of what we needed. So we just overbought everything. Now we can buy what we need, or closer to what we need. We'll get auto notifications when something's going low. And if we want it to, it will actually create the order for us. So when I talk about the hours of savings that James is getting through procurement and stock control, it's not, he literally doesn't have to go outside of the software, and the software does a lot of the stuff that he would have to do manually, like go out and check, have we got enough mugs? No, the system will tell us if we've got enough mugs, and you can put automatic replenishment quantities in, and it will actually create a PO ready and send it if you want it to your supplier, so you don't even have to press a button.
You mentioned the growth of your e-commerce business and digital print business, and then you linked it to how that has impacted your staffing. Can you just?
So we've grown 20% this year in this factory, and we have not added on a single person. So I've not added on any more purchasing people, stock control people, warehouse people. I've not added on any more press operators, any more bindery operators, any more packers, and we've grown 20%. Just to be clear for everyone involved in this and listening to this, we already are the most efficient Canon IX producer in the world. We hover in literally 1 to 3 every single week, every single month. Okay. So don't know who the other two are, but we're already We're already there, okay? So this is not my business for people listening to this going, oh, we must have had 20% more capacity. No, we're already the most efficient. Like, we're already there. Like, you would be good to get to where we are before we started with Gelato. So we've grown 20% without any more additional labor cost. And that is resulted in, and again, I am 100% swear on everything that I have in existence, and I'm not going to swear on my children because this just gets a bit weird, but I swear on everything I have in existence, we have doubled our profitability this year.
How would you just, if you could break down in 3-4 bullet points, why do you say that you have doubled? What are the main reasons? You've kind of touched upon them, but just like in a bullet shape format.
So we've grown 20%. We've not taken any more resource on, and we're saving money on cash and interest. You know, that 3 bullet points that I've just touched on. You know, you take 20% growth on and you don't employ anyone or add any additional cost in terms of labor for that 20%, that, you know, that has a big bottom line number.
Of course, like also the time savings in logistics, which we come to, and in the procurement. So it's not centralized only around the workflow, but it's the end to end.
Yeah, it's end to end. And logistics is just cheaper as well, right? So it's not just the fact that I don't have to negotiate with anyone. It's just, you know, that is obviously a massive time saving for me to be able to do other stuff rather than have to worry about who our carriers are going to be, what services are we going to use for those carriers, because in your previous, your competitors, it's all manual, you have to predefine everything. Gelato, just kind of like, there's 20 carrier services and it just goes and finds the best service or the cheapest service associated to the package that the order is related to. But, you know, it's not just the time saving, which is huge amount in terms of direct profitability improvement. You know, there are savings in logistics, overall, as in literally pound for pound carrier.
And can we just, if we stop and pause there, I spoke to Charlie Tidemerch in the Nordics. He is approximately saving 20 to 30% on his carrier legs, but he's also reaching new customers and new markets thanks to us having 65 global carriers in one single service. How would you say that translates from just a pure cost savings perspective for your business?
In terms of carrier cost savings. So I would say overall, Gelato has a huge amount of address validation, and not just address validation, it has a huge amount of package size validation. And what happens when you don't have that type of validation is you get quite a lot of returns and delayed orders or redirected orders or relabeled packages at the carriers, okay? And I did a study before in our own business that equated for about 17% of the carrier cost. Gelato, with a lot of that validation, has reduced that cost quite significantly because we're not getting as many returns because prop address validation. You know, we're not sending packages out that are too big for the service. And that all equates to not just the pound for pound saving we're getting, but an actual overall carriage saving per order.
That is fantastic. I feel that I get goosebumps when I hear how much we have accomplished in just the 3 months, basically, we've been live with GelatoConnect, and we haven't even started. Speaking of which, in end of August, we're also launching our apparel workflow. In September, we're launching the deep integrations with TikTok and Amazon. And we're also already seeing how our Connect customers are starting to speak with each other over the software. I was wondering a bit if you can speak about the future, just the near future, like the coming 3 to 6 months, and what you are seeing there that makes you excited.
Yeah, so we've got a new product and workflow tool launching in Gelato as well. A lot of companies will be using Switch to do a lot of their, or that type of software, to do a lot of their file manipulation a lot of their workflow and deliver the correct file to the machine or the folder or whatever it is for production. That tool that Gelato are creating really negates the need to have that software in your business and really de-skills, I think is the right word, the need to have such high skill associated to having that software in your business. And I think that's also like something that we haven't touched on a lot. We've got multiple bits of software doing multiple different things. And I'm jumping out into databases, I'm jumping into Switch, I'm jumping into SiteFlow, I'm jumping into other services that we've created, like having, QuickBooks for purchase orders, MintSoft for stock control. Like, I can literally keep going on different bits of software. Like, it's really, really hard to quantify, but I think anyone listening to this will understand, because I've just mentioned about 6 different bits of software that we have to jump in and out of, and there's more. That's all in one. Like, how much time does that save just logging into 6 different bits of software? Just typing my name in and putting my password in. Just the log on probably saves us hours a day across those people, let alone just the clarity of information, the structure, and what it gives us the ability to do, the opportunity that GelatoConnect gives us as a business to further improve ultimately that profitability.
When we speak about some of those load balancer, futuristic discussions about being able to access other printers, machines in other countries, over GelatoConnect, when your machine breaks down, like you pushed us quite a lot, Simon, to surface machine capacity in the network so that you can use that as a load balancer for your own operations. If you could just touch a bit upon why that has been such an important part of our conversations, and you pushed us quite hard in this direction.
Yeah, that's super key. Having customers that feed into ESP is GelatoConnect, and ESP can go across the world to other versions of GelatoConnect. The control and stickiness that we have over those customers is, I mean, a contract can't even be as sticky as that. A lifetime contract, to move a customer, to move all of that would be hard work, and there would have to be a pretty big reason for that to take place. So we've got customer satisfaction, we've got customer stickiness, and customer retention. In terms of outsourcing work due to capacity situations or capacity issues, I'm really hoping that where we'll get to in the future is, and I think Gelato's already creating this, not necessarily by the software, but just by us all getting together in Sweden. Just the connections and the relationship that Gelato and the ecosystem it's creating, that, I'm meeting new customers and new companies. And we want to get to a position where if we want to enter a new market, or we've got too much demand on a certain subsector of product, instead of me going to spend another 500, 600, 700, 800, 900,000 pounds for this little peak or capacity restriction or machine down or whatever, I want to be able to send that to someone through this relationship that Gelato has helped foster. Someone, again, that I trust, someone I know that's got the same vision and mindset, because they're obviously at the Gelato Summit. That, from a profit and loss on balance sheet point of view, in terms of my cash availability, my ability to satisfy my customers, is just, again, provides huge amounts of value add.
Exciting things coming, and also looking forward to that summit, which everyone that is not invited, hopefully you can come next year. So going back, Simon, to, you mentioned these systems, the 6 systems, the 7 systems you have, and now Gelato has replaced that, and you have one interface. That brings me to data, and how would you relate GelatoConnect to the data access that you now have? and how has that translated into decisions or operational focus from your side as a CEO and owner of ESP? How is that for you today?
Yeah, so I'll give you the best example. So having data congruity, data consistency, can't even say the word, across systems is vital for good data analytics. With 6, 7, 8, 9, just 2, to be honest with you, is too many. With that many systems, you cannot get data consistency, okay? With just Gelato, it gives us, quite obviously, data consistency, because Gelato from module 1 to module 10, it classifies everything exactly the same. And what we've now started doing, and this is truly factual, truly something I'm extremely excited about, being a chartered accountant as well, because I love a spreadsheet, is checking all of our products and the margins we create on those products. You know, we're getting packaging information back, how long we take to package certain items. You know, we're getting machine information back. We've got data consistency across products. We're getting to see, you know, proper information about what we receive, what we're dispatching in, how long things are taking. And with all of that, and of course, with procurement linked to it in terms of, you know, how much we're buying stuff for, to be brutally honest, with all of that information, you can start to really understand the margins per product that you're achieving. And there's not me sat here going, I want to increase our prices to create more margins per product. That obviously is not my first thought step. My first thought behind it is go, okay, let's find our top worst performers or top best performers. You know, I've got 2 thoughts in my mind. The top 5, the bottom 5, we want to make the top 5 by improving our efficiencies, changing how we package, going back to our suppliers and get a better pricing, whatever there is to change those bottom 5, you know, to the top 5. And the top 5, I want to sell more of. I want to go to every customer I have and new customers, you know, and this is where things like the Amazon, Etsy, and TikTok integration come in, because it gives me more avenues to look at those top 5 products and go, I really want to sell more of those products. How can I sell more of them? What avenues have I gotten to sell them down? And how should I entice customers to sell my product?
What are the 2, 3 data points when you come in the morning, or when you leave in the evening? Like, what are the 2, 3 data points that you now have access to that you didn't have access to before you went over to GelatoConnect?
First thing in the morning, I log into Gelato. Is literally the first bit of software I log into. And I will check certain things. I will check, because we work overnight as well, are we on time in terms of the dispatch overview screen? So operational stuff. I'll check the manage orders to see what we've had come in over the night in terms of orders coming in, what products, what customers. I'll check.
Are these data points that you could not access before?
Now, yeah, a lot of those points we could not, or I would have to log into multiple different systems or our SQL database and run a query to look at those data points, right? And it was just, you know, I could spend half an hour first part of my day just rolling through what I wanted to look at. But now it's just one login. I'll go into, like I said, manage orders, check what we've had in overnight, dispatch overview, check where we are in SLAs. The visibility Gelato gives you to resolve issues before it comes an issue. I'll check to see, have we had any issues with incoming orders? You know, has something happened? Like, real simple stuff. Is a customer not sent a file in correctly, right? Just real simple stuff, you know, that I can resolve before production starts, so nothing's late. Real simple stuff.
And one thing that I have heard over and over again when I've been visiting printers is, please bring the data into my mobile phone. And the reason I've heard over and over again is that we have big plants. We have big areas, physical areas. And I want, when I go through the production hub, I want to be able to access the status of the different phases in production over my phone. And now we're also bringing the scanner into the phone and the app so that you can go into the warehouse and scan any of the SKUs and get a status update. So we're bringing more and more value into the phone. How are you using the phone, and what's your view of the value the phone brings you?
I think that, look, we use our mobiles for everything in life, right? The power of the mobile app becomes more and more important, if that makes sense, to provide me with data, to be able to, and not just me, Dave Wolozinski, our head of digital production, providing with data on the move. That's what apps are designed for, right? Provide data essentially at your fingertips, literally as you go to make informed decisions. So, you know, whether it's like you said on packaging, whether it's how much stock we have, whether it's are we on track for SLAs, whatever it may be. I think over time, as the app becomes more and more powerful and data rich, I think is probably the key element to it. Higher level management, senior management people can make informed decisions really quickly from that application. I think the more and more people will get to use it, the more and more they'll enjoy it. But you just made an example of like barcode scanning the products. Well, you like while you're there, if you're barcode scanning something and you're the right person, obviously, James, our purchaser, just buy it.
Yeah, exactly.
On your phone. Yeah. Like you don't need to walk back to your desktop and fire up your laptop and buy it. Just buy it there.
I agree. And also, again, when you go out to one of the printers and you see, 40,000 square feet of facility, you realize we need to bring this into the app.
Yeah.
But one question more on time savings. So we've been going in and out of time savings, but if you would go through the procurement, the workflow, and the logistics, from what you're seeing, how would you translate that into hours saved per day per module?
So procurement and warehousing, we have saved easily a couple of hours, 2 hours per day, just like I said, on our procurement person. But I would say in summary, I would say across every stakeholder that's involved in procurement and warehousing, I would say considering we've grown 20%, bearing in mind, so we're buying lots of more products, we've probably saved a person, a whole person in procurement and warehousing, along with everything being a lot more accurate. In terms of workflow, well, we've grown by 20% and we haven't employed anyone. We employ on this site about 70 people, so that's 14 people. That's a big number that we've not added to our basically cost in our P&L. In terms of logistics, we've easily saved a person. We've got a chap in our business called Bruno. I'll just give you returns as an example. Got a chap in our business called Bruno. One part of his main job is to deal with all the returns that come back from the carrier. Bruno is not dealing with returns anymore. Bruno is just doing other stuff. So overall, if we add that all up, 1 in purchasing, 14 in workflow, and 1 in logistics. So we're about 16 people. So yes, over 20% of our workforce at this site. That's
great. And still we, are continuing to bring more features into this. So hopefully we'll continue to drive that downwards. If you think about logistics from your control mechanism, you have mentioned that you want to be able to compare each and every packaging station and benchmark them against each other, and then also broader with other printers in the UK. How do you see this materializing, this benchmarking ability, and therefore also your ability to take better decisions?
Yeah, so this benchmarking ability is really important in peak, right? We've talked about this before, and in peak, we'll generally recruit about 45, give or take, full-time temporary staff to package all of our products. We'll be producing this peak in the realms of just gifting work. This is not commercial work out of this factory. About 30,000 packages a day. Okay, and that is a cost-wise. That is huge cost that we bear in that period to deliver that volume. That benchmarking ability to be able to make sure that our temporary staff and our full-time, but it's obviously going to mainly relate to the temporary staff, are moving at the speeds we require so we can make that 45, 35 is, I mean, it's 10 people. You know, it's a lot of money. The average salary or the average minimum wage in the UK is around about 26, 27,000 pounds, right? We'll have those type of people, 10, let's say we save 10 people, 260 grand over a full year. We'll have those type of people for between 3 to 4 months of the year. So there's a huge saving associated to having that data correct in Gelato, for us understanding what others are doing, yeah, in packaging, because we need to, like, we need to see someone do better than us. We're always going to strive to improve, right? But I tell you what, if I can say to Dave, this is what this partner in the UK is doing, he doesn't have an excuse of why we're packaging slower. You know, they're packaging the same product, you know, with the same software. We should be at the same speed, right? So, you know, that benchmarking is really critical to help us make sure I get everyone on board with the standards that we should be setting, and then overall the business save the labor cost on associated temp labor. And then with the mobile app having that information on, which it already does, again, that will be imperative, because you're not going to be stood down there watching 45 temporary labor staff for best part of, and bearing in mind, we'll be probably working about 18 hours across 2 shifts, give or take, 20 hours. No one's going to just stand there, you know, watching these individuals on this type of basis.
If we translate the time savings and what you see in terms of operational efficiency now into these 45 temp staff, do you see what you hoped you would see in terms of savings? I remember when we spoke, this was in May, June, you said that my goal is to reduce the number of temp staff by 20 to 30%. What is it that you're seeing now when you have it operationalized?
Well, we've grown by 20% and I haven't increased any staff. So from that perspective, right now, we've obviously achieved that objective, right? From a temp staff perspective, this will be our first peak going through with Gelato, right? So that is where I want to get to. But we've not gone through peak yet. We've not got temps in the building, even though we've grown 20%. We just talked about data points, and I didn't have that data point before. So I can't even make that comparison. But this year is going to be the year where we absolutely use that opportunity at our fingertips and make sure we are aggressive. And I mean that very, by the term, we are aggressive in our sense of making sure we achieve the targets that we set out. We've got the data there now. We've got the benchmarking. What else do you need? You just need to achieve.
We've spoken a bit about like efficiencies, you know, time savings, operational excellence, but perhaps even more important is the value creation.
Yeah.
And how you can drive growth. That is not only about being able to, you know, manage more orders with less or same resources, but it's also being able to access new customers, new markets, new product categories. Can you speak a bit about, like, in your vision now for the coming 6 to 12 months, what are you seeing in terms of value creation?
There's a huge amount in terms of value creation, in terms of sales to create value creation, right? It's going to give me the tools to see in the UK what products are selling well, give me the tools to create the product in Gelato, create and all the warehousing information at the click of a button. give me the tools to then offer that information to my customer so they can start selling the product. And then if the market holds true to the information that GelatoConnect has in terms of how well that product sells, I will obviously generate additional sales through those product sales. There's value creation through the integrations we've talked about, whether it be Amazon, TikTok, or Etsy. Again, they're just additional sales channels, you know, whether it's our customers, our brands, we're launching them through those sales channels. You know, a lot of people would be put off, especially in the personalized gifting sphere, of the lack of Amazon, Etsy, TikTok, definitely integration that enables them to seamlessly process orders and scale, right? If you don't have an integration, you're not scaling in those platforms. So again, for ESP, offering it to our customers so we can not, again, just create sales revenue value, like value creation for our business, because we're just growing more through all these 3 points I've just talked about. But it also, again, is making our customers so much more stickier. We are offering them services well and above that a printer would offer. Like, we're not, like, you're giving us tools to offer services that a technology company would offer. If you take the opportunity, there's a huge amount of value add sales opportunity you can get out of GelatoConnect, as long as you take that. You know, you have to be the one that do it, obviously.
Well, it's just exciting also because the type of partnership and relationship we've now developed and are building upon allows you to sit in the front seat and also guide us here. You've spoken about the importance of integrations. You've spoken about the importance of you being able to publish the products that you have into Gelato Create and start selling that to the creator economy and to other e-commerce companies. And so we're also in this partnership just together navigating towards all these future growth opportunities.
And it becomes win-win, right? We're in a win-win situation. What benefits you benefits me. What benefits me benefits you.
Yeah.
And it also benefits my customer. And I think, like, for people like listening to this, and like this will really polarize it for you. What other software provider in print gives you sales growth and value creation opportunities by proactively going out there and creating standardized integrations for the three companies we mentioned, Amazon, Etsy, and TikTok, and others.
And also Shopify, right?
Yeah, and Shopify, yeah, of course. Like, going out there and proactively giving you sales avenues or sales channels to be able to provide your customers, going out there and telling you across your market, these products sell really well, by the way, so you may want to do something about that, you know, and provides you with revenue at the same time to give you the foundation to launch new products. Yeah. Like, you have to, like, sit there while I'm talking about this, as in someone listen to this, and just kind of let that sink in a bit and go, Gelato are not just acting like a software as a service business. This is like, we're creating an ecosystem associated to a win-win situation, a successful outcome. And it's being proven by all the development resource that Gelato are putting into these added value elements or value creation elements that are helping essentially me just sell more.
Yeah. Well, just for everyone listening, I did not send you any script. This is an off-the-cuff conversation. So you're actually speaking what you genuinely in your heart are feeling about Gelato, because sometimes I almost, you know, get a bit embarrassed by how much compliments you're giving us, and my attempt was also to share that with you and other partners that are helping us build this. We are a software company. You're running a production house, and your focus is on operational excellence, and when we marry that, it becomes really, really exciting.
Yeah, I think what everyone should remember, you know, the reason why I say this stuff and the reason why Gelato are doing it, you know, Gelato, it's a win-win situation, right? And Gelato, Henrik, you know, they're also there the same as us to make money and to better their business financially and grow, right? So when something suits two businesses and that comes together, then that's the best type of partnership. You know, we're both heading towards a common trajectory, and while we're going on that common trajectory, we're both winning and we're both aligning. And like we talked about the ecosystem, you know, the whole print industry needs to move forward. You know, together we're all going to achieve that, and together we're all going to benefit from it.
Well, that is kind of good wrap up for the last question. So Simon, if you are speaking to the listeners out there, a printer thinking about GelatoConnect, should I move, should I not? What guidance, what advice would you give this printer?
There's no real competitive advantages in print right now because we can all buy the same kit. You know, we can all be, we want, in the same location. We can all recruit good people, you know, as long as we all try. But what you can't do at the moment, because ultimately throughout this whole podcast I've just told you, is buy other software that achieves the same output. And Gelato, right this moment and into the foreseeable future, because like I said, and Henrik said, I truly believe we're not properly started yet, will give you your competitive advantage, or give you a competitive advantage.
Thank you for your support and thank you for your time, Simon. It's been really, really, you know, mind-blowing to think that we put an ambition, you and I, to double your margin in 12 months time, and we've doubled your margin in basically 3 months.
Yep.
And we are not you know, off the blocks, really. So excited about the future, and thank you again, Simon.
Thank you very much.